usamos estampillas posables.
You are now tuned in to your number one radio station.
Violent people!
Radio.
Welcome to Violent People Radio, episode 90. I'm Dan Rice. I am joined, as always, by Chris. Chris, how's it going?
I'm so fucking tired.
I'm also joined, as always, by Pat. Pat, how's it going?
I'm excited for us to design the new logo live to tape as our big top.
And we also have our new permanent fourth host, ORCHID. ORCHID, how's it going?
Great. That's not. I haven't signed the contract yet.
Well,
so
I mean, we'll see.
Okay.
I thought
We'll see how the new logo might sway you.
I thought you could just.
I mean,
announce
no matter what, I am definitely growing a hot dog delivering mail. Like, I have not been able to stop thinking about that since I posited it. And if it's just for me, I want a little hot dog Pat. So I'm gonna make it happen.
Just put me out in I've got this shitty Irish skin. Just put me out in the sun long enough. That's basically what happens.
I don't know why I'm imagining an Irish hot dog.
I mean, we're getting
That's where
right
they're from.
into
That's where Frankfurters are from.
I'll take your word for it.
We're getting right into the site news. I get a DM panic from Porik asking how to delete an episode of Late Night with the 2012 Royal Rumble. He says,
"Yeah, why did he want to delete Sam's?"
Yeah, well, that one for quality, and then I guess allegedly one of the guests who also designed our logo is a big old creep. You would never guess it. They love Joshi.
Will you please?
And
don't lump us all into this page.
Not all of you.
It's really kind of an opt-out situation where, you know, it's guilty until you can prove yourself innocent.
Sure.
ORCHID, you're one of the good ones.
Oh, great. That's a sentence that never went horribly wrong for anybody in the history of humanity. I will chime in to say that let's go a little bit further and say allegedly said party had receipts posted where they were being quite strange. So I'll just come out and say, don't be a fucking weirdo. If you're gonna be a fucking weirdo, you're not gonna be able to do it on our fucking Discord. Well,
Yeah,
at least like a creep. You can be weird, but not about like.
I was gonna say our
sex.
Discord. Got some
You can be
weirdos.
weird, but you can't do it about gender, race, sex, victims.
the life lesson I would encourage people to take away is you need to have hobbies other than the ones that you masturbate to, because
Good advice.
it leads to a very dark, lonely life of DMing people about Japanese teenagers' thighs.
And yeah, you don't want to do that. Just generally speaking, teenager or non-teenager, probably don't fucking do that. Especially don't do it if you're gonna be with us nut jobs.
Just don't have the DM tab open when you're jacking off. Just in general, in life, never do it.
I have a lot of
See-
there were a lot of like nice people concerned about my tattoo. That's like next to the tattoo that says "Eat the Rich" and buy a tattoo that was done by a man who is engaged to my ex-fiance, so someone that cuckolded me. And then I also have a free tattoo that is a rocket that's red, white, and blue because it was 4th of July and some guy asked if he could do it. So like I think I'll be all right.
Like were you just like walking down the street? And
no,
there's a guy
I
with a
was in
tattoo gun,
a
like, "Hey."
tattoo parlor.
No,
I
this is
probably
no
would,
tournament
at that
death.
point in time in my life, I probably would have said yes to that too. Though I'd be like, yeah, all right. What's the worst that could happen?
It's okay, Dan. Whatever you might feel about your violent people tattoo, just know that I have a Transformers tattoo, so life could always be worse.
Oh, I'm so glad I was poor when I was a teenager because I desperately wanted a Lord of the Rings tattoo.
What would
Hmm.
it? All right, no, walk me through this. I need to know what
Me and
the
my buddy
Lord
were
of the
gonna
Rings tattoo would
we were
entail.
gonna this is like the instead of like the barbed wire tat, I wanted the inscription of the One Ring around my bicep.
Oh, that's fucking sexy.
Yeah, that's badass.
That's what I thought. When I was 18, I was so sure that ladies would love that. But I
Want
just
Dan
couldn't
to rule them all.
I couldn't pull together the cash, unfortunately, so
There's still time. I mean, I have a fucking Elizabeth Holmes tattoo, so and that's like not even one of my worst tattoos. So, what is
Yeah,
a body if not something to traumatize?
it felt like anyone that was worried about it is someone that doesn't actually have any tattoos.
Sure, fair.
Dan, but if you were to get the violent people's skull covered up, which Lord of the Rings character would you have them try to turn it into?
Oh, man. That's really tough.
Like it's still same pose, same expression.
I don't know. I don't know. If same expression, that's like a tough task for the, tattoo artist, but it's probably just Gimli.
Yeah.
Do you wanna just talk about Ollie all episode, or do you guys watch any wrestling this week?
I watched more than I thought I would.
So more than 0.
More than 0. Yeah. More
Holy
than
shit.
usual. It's an unusually productive week in terms of sitting in front of my TV.
Well, you wanna start off and get into all this pro wrestling you've been watching?
Sure. So the concept that we're working with here is that okay, amigo, you need as soon as I went to get my notepad, amigo's like, let me get that.
I swear to
That's
God,
my cat for new listeners.
if you're new listeners and Eric.
Yeah, no, he's decided he needs to ruin this show for me. But so the thing is, I've decided Mania weekend is my cutoff for like anything I don't watch before then. It goes into the pit. It's not. I'm just never going to get to it. I'm not going to be one of those people who come VP 100 season, which we'll talk about later, I assume. It's November, and I'm like, okay, time to start on March. Not going to happen.
Mm.
So once we hit Mania week, anything that happened before Mania week gets thrown in the trash. I'm never going to get to it. So I'm trying to catch up on the big 2 promotions. They're the start of their 2026. And by the big 2 promotions, I, of course, mean ICW No Holds Barred and Game Changer Wrestling. The big 2 of my heart. I was about to say the big 2 of BPR, but then I remembered, no, that would be MLW and like a second MLW.
Hell yeah.
JCW. Please
JCW, yeah,
respect
true.
JCW.
Yeah.
True. But
Can I just cut you off to say that I was
What's up?
worried when you said Mania weekend? You're like, I thought you were saying the plan is to go to all the Game Changers Mania weekend shows.
No, oh my God, no.
I mean, he heard
Ew.
Starlight Kid's gonna be at the Stardom show. That's what he's excited.
Yeah,
about.
no, I mean,
walking
I'm
to
going to
Vegas.
be DMing some people about that, but that's later.
Oh,
So
gosh.
I caught up on January, in the past week. And I think rather than list every single match, because no one has time for that, certainly not me, I'm just going to go into the best matches, which were in order, from GCW One Night Only, January 3rd, Mr. Danger versus Orin Vite. I know what you're thinking. It's Orin Vite. How can that be on a best list of anything? Mr. Danger is the next Darby Allin. Orin Vite could have been just like a fucking, roast turkey in there wrestling with him. And basically was. But Mr. Danger has the complete lack of self-preservation, the total lack of a survival instinct that young Darby Allin had before he became an AEW millionaire and was like racing ATVs with Sting all day. I'm just saying, if you like, it's the same thing that I was saying with, if you like Mad Dog Connolly, you'll like Slade. If you like Darby Allin, you'll like Mr. Danger. And I like Mr. Danger a lot. He has some gnarly shit done to him in this match. He is a good bleeder. Then, same night, January 3rd, ICW No Holds Barred, Volume 90, the 6th anniversary show. The best match on that, I would say the two best matches on that one, Eric Dillinger versus Mr. Redacted, and John Wayne Murdoch versus Bear Bronson. John Wayne Murdoch, severely underrated wrestler in terms of just his ability to get a crowd going. There are a lot of wrestlers who try to get a crowd going, but they seem to almost be doing it on autopilot. He's really good at reading the room and reacting to that in such a way that it becomes a feedback loop of response. And I think more people need to get wise to John Wayne Murdoch. Really good, really, really good. I like him a lot. You should too. January 17th, we're back to GCW with Code of the Streets. Best match on that, it was either Otis Cogar versus Matt Tremont in a collision of the Big Bald Boys, or in a non-death match, since it was Emerson Jane versus Shotzi Blackheart, which I believe, Orchid, you also watched.
Sure fucking did.
We can get to that in a minute, so we'll put a pin in that one. Next night, January 18th, GCW Crime Wave in Wichita, Kansas. I mean, that was just kind of a mid-range show. Shockingly, I think the best match of the ones I watched, because I'm taking a pick and mix approach to these shows. I'm not watching another year of entire GCW shows. I'm just skipping to the matches with people I want to see. But Shotzi versus KJ Orso was much better than I thought it would be. Especially considering, Shotzi, she's really good at getting a crowd going, but in terms of her in-ring ability, she's Shotzi.
Shut the fuck
And
up.
KJ, that's what I mean. It's, she's not the kind of gifted, natural,
she's no
work rate
Jade
person.
Cargill, I guess. You're right.
She's no Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
She's no Jade Cargill.
That is fair.
But I mean, Jade Cargill is also, not a work rate person. So her versus a work rate, like KJ Orso is a work rate guy. He markets himself as, I'm the indie MJF, but he's absolutely like a work rate sequences guy. And I was kind of like, I don't know how that's going to go with Shotzi, who she can't keep up with that kind of go thing. It's not like she's like a Kyle Fletcher or something. But they made each other look pretty good. So I was shocked. You don't have to run out of your house to go watch Shotzi Blackheart versus KJ Orso, but I was pleasantly surprised by it.
It's too
I
late.
will be.
I'm out in the street right now.
I don't know why you would be watching it outside either. I don't know why I said that. Rounding off January 31st, GCW Crushed Up. Best match on the show was Bear Bronson, Matt Tremont, and Slade versus Atticus Cogar, Otis Cogar, and Christian Napier. Fun brawl, but it was more of a WWE hardcore style brawl. No one bled, and I'm 99.9% sure it was because they were in a venue that had carpeted floors. And I know GCW cannot afford the bill a casino would give them if they got blood on the carpet floor of the ballroom or whatever it was, the function hall.
I have to call you out on this one. Did you watch Don Freeze versus Ruckus?
I skipped over that. I ran out of time.
Oof, that's the match of the night. Having said that, I only watched Don Freeze, Ruckus, and Janela Rick Blade from that show. And Janela,
I was about to bring up Janela Rick Blade. That was easily the worst of all this stuff I watched from GCW and ICW. Rick Blade, I don't, it's funny because I want to say what happened to Rick Blade, and then I remember that oh no, in 1999 Rick Blade would still fuck up a springboard and slip through half his moves. So Rick Blade is still Rick Blade is the issue. But yeah, he and Joey, they put on maybe the worst match I've seen in 2026. Dan, do you have thoughts about Joey Janela versus Rick Blade?
It's like a normal Janela mid-card match is going to go way too long, except Rick Blade is going to go half the speed, maybe a quarter the speed of normal Janela opponents. and botch everything.
Yeah.
This is my first Rick Blade match since his return. I watched his return in 2024, but that was a tag match with Johnny Kashmere and him, and like all they had him do was like he hit like 2 spots. It was like, oh man, Rick Blade fucking rules. I'm just remembering like Rick Blade music videos and then a 20-year skip ahead and then that, and then I saw this 15-minute match. I was like, well, this is awful. And I also
Did
think
you
it's really
watch
funny
the
that Rick Blade was PW's champion.
just the Legacy Champion? I don't know if they have another belt, but it was the Legacy Championship.
Oh, I guess I wasn't paying attention to that.
But did you watch Janela's promo afterwards?
No, I turned it off as soon as
He does a promo putting over Rick Blade, putting over CZW, and talks about how, you know, Rick Blade's one of the legends that let him. He says he first saw the most relatable promo Joey Janela has ever cut is him saying, you know, when I was younger, I went on LimeWire and I found a video called Owen Hart death footage or something. So I downloaded it and it was Rick Blade fucking up a swanton off of a truck. And I'm just like, for everyone in this generation, that is like the most relatable thing Joey could have ever said. Anyway, so that's all the wrestling I watched. I mean, you know, there were some more matches in there, but I don't.
Did you watch?
You know, I don't feel like getting into it.
Did you watch Brick Savage versus Thomas Shire? That's looking over the shows you watched.
I didn't watch that one. I watched Brick Savage versus Matt Tremont, and that one honestly was kind of a snoozer.
See, I always like Brick Savage in theory more than I ever do in actuality. Like I look at him and go, "This guy's gonna be my kind of wrestler," and it never really hits. But him versus Shire.
Brick Savage is someone who probably should be like a hot tag in a tag. Like there should be like a little guy who teams with Brick Savage and gets his ass kicked, and then tags out to Brick Savage who just throws everyone around.
All right, so Orchid, we heard that you also watched some GCW, or at least
I watched one single GCW match. It was Emerson Jane versus Shotzi Blackheart at Pat's request. I think Pat.
I didn't request that you watch this specific match. I told you you should become a fan of Emerson Jane.
Yeah,
and you were like, okay, let me get into that by watching a GCW match, which always goes well for becoming fans of people.
I mean, I think like, please forgive me for deducing you recommending somebody, and my immediate thought being I should probably watch GCW, but that's where my brain went. Like, you know,
I guess you could have watched TNT. So
that's true. I could have. But yeah, I also too I have no problem admitting that I find Shotzi to be quite delightful. I think she's very good at working her crowd, to Pat's point, and every time I see her, I just keep thinking that she's like, at least if you put her in AEW, I think she would be maybe in the top 10 women in that company, which
easily,
I think, yeah, like by a landslide. In both just how she carries herself, how she's able to pick up spots. Her in-ring work isn't all, you know, great, but it's better than Julia Hart, minimum. And I have to watch her fucking Wraith pants once every 3 weeks. So I did leave that match more impressed with Shotzi than I did Emerson Jane. But let me ask you, what makes you? How is there a pipeline from Emerson Jane from Sky Blue to Emerson Jane? Like, what do I need to be thinking about?
Emerson Jane does death matches.
Okay, all right. So I should be watching.
That was the thing. Okay. You know, go back to 2025. Watch Otis Koger versus Emerson Jane.
Okay, great. I will report back.
One of her other. Actually, no. You know what the one to watch is? John Wayne Murdoch and Reed Bentley versus Emerson Jane and Drew Parker.
Happily, on the John Wayne Murdoch portion of this. I like that you said that everybody should be more familiar with John Wayne Murdoch. I know the name. He's more familiar with me than I am him. For some reason, he's following me on Twitter. I've got no idea why. I've never mentioned that man's name before. I was a little alarming to see that. I'm curious as to know what he's doing. But yeah, I'll happily check him out after your re-endorsement. And you know, I would love to make him one of my moots.
Now, if you or any of our listeners are big Shotzi fans, I can recommend a company where she's a champion.
Go on.
Which one was happening?
This is a slight spoiler, but she is the MLW Women's World Featherweight Champion.
I did find that out this week.
On a show that will maybe air someday.
Yeah, it was at the January
also,
show.
shout out to Shotzi for her brother being found.
I did not know that he'd been found, so when you started that sentence, I was terrified. I was like, what is Pat saying? Oh, man. No, that's the they ran a January show that aired, the Battle Riot, and then they taped some Fusion, and then they taped the Lucha show, and those will come out. They're not saying when, but they'll come out.
And is that against
Shotzi...
No, yeah, Pat.
I'm just saying, do you know who Shotzi really reminds me of is Lita?
I see that.
Lita is another person who like knows how to get the crowd going, knows how to work the crowd. Maybe not the smoothest wrestler in the ring, but with the right person can really make her look good. It's just that Shotzi doesn't break her own neck nearly enough.
I'll say yet.
Yeah,
but
that's your point.
Yeah. You know, I don't think Shotzi does many Hurricane Ranas, so she's probably safe for now. You know, every time Lita did a Hurricane Rana back in like 2000, it was its own mini Joe versus Necro moment where it's just kind of like, I don't know if she's going to kill her opponent or herself.
Yeah, fair. All right. In terms of other things I watch, I really watched a lot of wrestling this week. More than I anticipated, and not the wrestling that I anticipated, which was fun. Shout outs to America's Sweetheart Tim from the Q&T podcast. He demanded that somebody listened or somebody watched a little bit of 16 Karat Gold this weekend, and I happily obliged. I'm always one to make white men who are nice to me happy. One of my favorite things to do. I'll get to that in a minute. I'll talk about some of the other things that I watched first. I did do a bit of the CMLL show Friday night, the all women's one. Pretty decent Mercedes match. Cool to see her drop the title. Persephone is good and could be a very talented wrestler one day. I don't quite see it yet. Good match there, though. Not much to say about it besides like it's on the lower end in terms of Mercedes's
Question.
output.
Did you watch the Megan Bain match from that?
I did.
Okay, so Megan Bain, I watched a match of hers as part of my I watched her versus Priscilla Kelly, and it was fine. But the last time I really watched Megan Bain was when I did the 2024 watch every GCW show thing. And I was kind of shocked. I'm like, wow, Megan Bain's gotten a lot better at wrestling. And
do you mean from like the recent watch as compared to the GCW watch?
You know, compared to when I was watching her matches in GCW in 2024, I don't think she was an AEW regular for any of that. And her matches were very Joey Janela-like in that they were all 19 minutes long. They were all full of stuff for the sake of stuff. They just, you know, it was kind of, I'd be like, oh, great, another, you know, like fucking 45-minute Megan Bain versus Billy Starks match. And I think, I haven't watched any of her AEW run, but I think she's kind of learned discipline to some extent from becoming a TV wrestler, because her stuff seemed a lot more tight, a lot more focused, a lot more structured watching her versus Priscilla Kelly, two wrestlers who both have experience being TV wrestlers.
People were saying that the CMLL match was good. I haven't watched it yet, but
liked it a lot. Definitely good. I was very bummed that it was not 2 out of 3 falls. I really would love it if it was. But I think the thing that I think about when I think about Megan Bain these days is I had not seen a lot of her in 2024 or prior to that, enough that I was like completely disinterested in her by the time she got to AEW. I think that in that division, she's kind of a highlight for me, with the low ceiling on what she's able to accomplish. It's an interesting thing because a lot of the time I hear Dave Metzler talk about how bad of a talker she is, as if that matters in any way, shape, or form, especially in a division that features countless women who only speak in a monotone voice. I don't necessarily think that like someone like Penelope Ford is significantly more charismatic than Megan Dane, which I don't really want to belittle Penelope Ford. I
Yeah,
feel like
she's been
I
through
wrote a
enough
statement.
lately. I think,
Yes.
I saw a thing saying she lost her leg.
Yeah. Trying to figure out a way to see if I wonder where Pork would put Penelope on his NWO ranking. That's very curious to me. But anywho, the match with Olympia, yeah, very good. I think outside of AEW, especially the few times I've seen Megan Dane in both Stardom and CMLL at this point, I see a wrestler who absolutely knows how to pick her spots, does know how to put together sequencing in a way that's meaningful, really has a good understanding of how her size benefits her in an in-ring match in a way that seems very, very distinct to American women's wrestling. I don't think like she is almost one of one in that way. I think like the closest comp to her would probably be Bozilla, which she's not on Bozilla's level. I mean, Bozilla's to me, no one excites me more in in Japanese wrestling than Bozilla. But I thought it was really standout match. I think I went 3+ on it. I think there were some limitations to it. Olympia did some really fucking sick shit in it too. I'm not always high on Olympia. It's easily my favorite Olympia match that I've seen. So I like that a bit. And then I did also sit through Starlight Kid and Mace Area versus Luvia and La Jorquita. Uh, I really want to like Starlight Kid more than I do. As somebody who's heard Kenny Omega countlessly or praised her countless times, I find myself just bored to death by her for the most part. I don't really know what it is. I'm sure she's talented. It's just one of those "it's not for me" situations. Speaking of Stardom, I did. I feel once a year, no, 3 times a year, I tell myself this is the time I give Stardom a shot, and it always seems to be around the tournaments. And right now, the Stardom Cinderella tournament is going on. I went into it completely blind, like having no real idea about what's going on, like what it is, like what the quote storylines around it are or what they aren't. And I sat through the first 2 days worth of shows. Interesting wrinkle in it is that there's over the top elimination rules in the first 2 rounds, I believe. And I think that stops at some point. But the majority of matches were on both nights were like relatively short with no real
Yeah, I
standouts.
think that's a relic from when they would cram it into. I don't know if it was always multiple shows, but I think at least at one point it was a one night thing. So all the first round matches were like 2 minutes long because they could end by over the top rope.
Got it. Yeah, I don't think any were that short, unfortunately. I definitely was counting the minutes on a lot of them. I also wasn't aware of the fact that it was because in looking at the lineup and seeing folks like Sarianu, Natsupoi, who else did I watch from that? Saya Ida. Seeing the names on there, I did not have any idea that it was like basically a junior sort of a match. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have sat through it for as long as I did. But it's an interesting concept because apparently last year, and all this is coming to me from the Observer Discord, so I'm trusting them with their accuracy on this. But according to them, last year it did not go well. The person who did win the tournament did not do well with their push. I think it was Hanan, who I always, my opinion on Han is, wow, her hair is fantastic, and that's about where it ends. And so
As
apparently,
far as
since
I
it
know,
didn't
she's
go,
still 14 years old.
I cannot know for the life of me. They all seem to be somewhere between the ages 16 and 24, based on like just how time passing so fast.
She started when she was like 13 or something like that.
Yeah, I think she's older than that now.
She's older than that now, but in my brain, you say Hanan, and I just picture like 13-year-old judo rookie.
Sure. I think she's like mid-20s now.
Yeah, because her two little sisters are in Stardom too, and they're both.
Right.
I assume they've aged.
I hope, for everyone's sake.
It would be a medical miracle if they didn't.
Yeah,
or some kind of weird interview with a vampire thing.
Or that Brian Johnson guy. Maybe they're linked up with him in that way. But yeah, not a whole lot to say about the Stardom tournament besides the fact that every time I watch the Stardom tournament, I distinctly feel myself thinking this is just not a promotion for me, which is interesting because I really, at the end of the day, Joshi wrestling is what really like moves me the most. But yeah, gave it another run. I would say nothing really stood out from that, either bad or good, which always feels like the worst thing possible. I think the one thing that actually did stand out is that Stardom is getting so heavy into their leanings with AI that it is just peppered all throughout the show at this point. It's logos, it's title cards, it's there's really hilarious cartoons of Fukujin death, where it's just with the complete piss yellow filter on top of it. I think it's a really incredible step, like to try to sit there and position yourself as like, we're a company that's on the up and up, but we're going to use like the cheapest AI possible instead of hiring a designer. It's incredibly interesting choice for a company that is so heavily invested in aesthetics and appearance that they would try to look as cheap as possible in their graphics. And I get a big kick out of that. Before I pop into talking about the 16 carat tournament, I do just kind of want to briefly touch on a small promotion called PPP Tokyo. Is anyone familiar with this one?
Yes.
I figured you would be. Yeah. Pat, can you give me a little background on PPO Tokyo? I know like the broad strokes, but I think you'll have more knowledge about it.
They are a small independent league. They have a few wrestlers who seem to have it as their home base. I believe last time I brought them up on the Violent People Discord, people got upset about it because I think I don't know if they still do, but I think in the past they used Joji Otani, who was a Japanese wrestler who was doing creep shit with a teenager.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's the home base for the future of wrestling, Chanyota. So of course I'm familiar with PvP Tokyo. They also have another guy whose name I forget, who's very hairy and wrestles with Rick Steiner headgear.
Kentaro Haichiusu.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I came across this promotion.
They seem like the GC. Like if you have Stardom and Marigold, and if those are the big leagues of Joshi nowadays, PPP Tokyo seems to be like the GCW of Joshi in that they feature a lot of women, but they're indie women as opposed to idol women.
Yeah, I feel like if I was to I came across this promotion because early in the year they ran Shanyata versus Mirai, and I am incredibly, I would say like Mirai is probably the person that like moves me the most. I'll go like out of my way to try to watch her wrestle anybody these days. And I just absolutely fucking love the match of the two of them had, and the vibes of it were just in the arena were just so wacky. I felt like now with like maybe a month or two's worth of space, and after having like subscribing to their YouTube channel for about as long, I feel like the vibes of the company are generally if DDT and GCW kind of found themselves into a blender, and then you sprinkled in a little bit of that bikini era wrestling that was so popular in the aughts. I feel like that's kind of the vibes that I generally get from it. It just ultimately just feels like a party environment, which is a little alarming now that I know about Joji Otani being there and being
I don't think he runs the place or anything. It's just I think he's worked there.
They have on their website only 6 wrestlers who like they feature regularly. 9. And he is listed on there. So yeah, he's
okay.
That's probably
so yeah,
close to home base. Yeah. So yeah, great on them in that regard. They also have from their website, it seems as if they have something called PPP girls, and there are almost just as many PP girls, if not more, than there are actually like regular
They
full-time
are.
wrestlers.
Are those the ring girls who
Those are the ring
the
girls.
UFC style? Holding up the cards.
So I'm trying to
Yeah,
Google PP Tokyo girls. Is that kind of what I'm doing?
PPP Tokyo. Yeah.
It's 3 Ps.
Oh, okay, it's gonna make a
3 Ps.
difference. I feel like.
Yeah, not just PP, PPP.
Anyway, so their most recent show, what they do is they stream their shows live on YouTube for free, and then once the live stream is over, they go behind the paywall.
That's
So
exactly what they do.
I woke up, glanced at YouTube, and then while getting ready for work, I just said, "Oh, well, it's this show in Japan's streaming. Let me watch that." So I did watch one match of the thing before I had to leave.
What do you remember which one? I only watched one match too. It was just before the show.
Let me see. I wrote it down.
All right.
Let's see how I butcher these names.
While you're looking for that, I do just want to point out that the first person on the PPP girls portion of the website is the quote terrifyingly big breast leader Rinko, and shouts to her for being
that's a good
terrifying
title.
Big breast. I aspire. I hope one day I found a new idol.
So I watched. These people are commonly called the Big Six of Japanese wrestling. Riara, Non-Taraga, and Arina Yamanaka versus Yuri, Zones, and Soy.
Oh, fuck yeah. Some of my faves right there.
Yeah, I mean, this I was like, if nothing else, I watched a match that I know Orchid was like, hell yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, I love Yuri. I love Zones a bit. I like them as people, not as much as wrestlers, but I'm sure that match was as much of a blast as
Zones was doing all the power stuff, like the super strong woman wrestler thing. She's not as good at it as Megan Bain.
Nah, not remotely.
She's just kind of clunky.
Very clunky. And like not in a charming way. Like I love a clunky power woman, but not in a way that's just like
and this was
more than anything else.
I want to say Non-Taraga's like 6th or 7th match.
Okay.
Like she is someone who, the history of Chanyota is that before she was a wrestler, Chanyota was a porn star. And Non-Taraga is like her protege in that she also decided to exit porn, and her post-porno career is being something even sleazier, a pro wrestler.
We're hoping Dan gets there eventually.
Fingers crossed.
Girl can dream.
So Non-Taraga, she had her first match against Chanyota at the end of last year, and since then she's been their women's division young lion.
Yeah, I think I've seen one match from her. But generally the home base of Chanyota, who is quite great. As sort of a face of like a small company like this, the main event of that show is it's called Brilliant Dream. I think Hope Edition. But the main event of that was Chanyota versus Mirai. Chanyota and Mirai versus Ichida, Miyabi, and Takumi Iora. Really just fun tag match, very much in the spirit of like Sari's kind of matches. It's just like I love seeing Chanyota in settings like that with folks who like really take like Joshi Pura like really seriously, because she fits in so well in that area, in that way. But it was sort of like this Western influence. Like she really knows how to like just stop and pose, just work the crowd up. I mean, that's like the perfect crowd for her to get worked up in the first place. And Mirai just really vibes there too, just like sort of this kind of like a charming goofball who's very sound technically. So I really just enjoyed the fuck out of that match.
Did you ever watch anything with Reika Saiki?
I don't think so.
She retired. This would have been like a decade ago. She was one of the early Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling champs.
Okay.
And she retired because she had she was getting acting gigs, she was getting modeling gigs, and wrestling just didn't fit into it anymore.
Got it.
But she was kind of the same deal as Chanyota, where she was very muscular, very strong, and very good at working a crowd. Like she was much more attractive than the average, super strong woman, which, it does make a difference. Like with people like Chanyota and Megan Bain and stuff like that, like the glamorous Amazon as opposed to the the scary Amazon. But Reika just wrestled her matches like she was Goldberg, and it worked.
Yeah.
It's like a 5'1" Japanese female Goldberg, and that's pretty much a great way to get me to watch someone.
Not even 5'1", 4'11". It's really important to me. Anytime someone's under 5'2",
I just remember her being like tiny.
Yeah, I googled immediately. I have seen her around. Have not watched any of her matches, but boy, oh boy, it's gonna be time to queue up Wrestling Universe once this is over. Because yeah, I'm ready. 4'11" muscle woman. That's my jam. And speaking of which, I think that it's a really interesting way to segue into 16 Carat, but it is possible since Chihiro was a member of the tournament. I guess before I like hop into this, did anybody else watch anything from WXW this week?
I have not watched it. I listened to Tim talk about Ambition. That was it.
Yeah.
I also listened to that, and then I watched Shire versus Hashimoto.
Chihiro. What do you think of that match?
I thought it ruled.
Yeah.
So
it was fun.
Before we get into it, Thomas Shire. Somehow I had avoided ever seeing a picture of him until today.
Okay.
And for some reason in my head, like I had become convinced, like, oh yeah, Thomas Shire, he's like Ilya Dragunov. He's like one of those like little WXW, like little muscle men. So then I see him and it's like
his whole thing is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, Thomas Shire is like if Trippin' Balls was a linebacker.
Yeah, that is kind of his whole deal. Oh man, Thomas Shire first impression like I didn't leave much for me. I think at that point I was still kind of like work rate brained. The more and more I watch that guy, I'm just like, it's just fucking awesome that somebody was like, all right, let's take fucking Dory Funk's spirit and put it in a fucking 6'3" dude who ends up wrestling like nothing but like short people all the time. It's fucking I get fucking.
Oh yeah, the match I watched
of
of his had him facing off against Anakin Murphy, which was just yeah,
that was great. No, I really enjoyed the match, but my main takeaway was, well, there you go. There's the two wrestlers I want to see out of the 16. So I kind of stopped.
Well,
like I looked at the rest of the first round matches and I was like, there's nothing here for me.
I think that was the right approach, just generally speaking. A lot of my time during the 2010s, I was not really paying attention to much wrestling at all, and if it was like mostly New Japan. And so like me coming back to this stuff, like I knew of WXW's existence, but hadn't really like. I think this was my first weekend, like really just like watching it. Period. I cannot remember. I did watch one match at Pat's recommendation when I was trying to figure out what deathmatch wrestler I would put on my Wrestling Observer ballot so that I could talk about how shitty Michael Oku was. And he gave me an Iceman match that I pretty much enjoyed. Actually, I enjoyed that match a lot now that I think about it. I mean, he got hit in the dick with a lemon. It was fucking awesome. Anywho, no lemons in these matches, very little dicks, and if there were dicks, no one was hitting each other. I not much really like stuck out for me, and in the matches that like I did feel like I was like kind of like moved by somebody, like so like Dieter Schwartz was somebody who I was like, all right, like yeah, this is something I could like really get into, but instead he ends up losing in 11 minutes to Naito, which is like, what the fuck is that? And it seemed to me I left WXW like watching the entire tournament, like every match in it, and the biggest thing that I left with was just being completely confused about what it is the Eastern European want out of him. This Ayora dude, who I'd never seen before, what is going on there? Like that guy fascinated me, but in no ways that had anything to do with wrestling. I couldn't stop looking at his dyed hair, and his theme music's been stuck in my head for like 4.5 days. And like he seemed to have like all of the ability to like work a match as a babyface, but solely stuck out as a heel throughout the entirety of it. And the entire storyline of it was that, like, if he lost the match, he was going to retire. And he's like 31. I was like, what the flying fuck is going on here? The first match he had in the tournament, the crowd was heavily invested in it. I, for the life of me, could not get up for it in the slightest. But yeah, all to essentially say, I'm happy I did my toes in the WXW waters. I did wish that there was a lot less Allen Angels.
Oh, that's always a good rule. And like, I think I called out forever ago what the final would be, which is not bad to be predictable, but it's like the final was already predictable, and then he did the retirement thing, so I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I know what the final is going to be, and I know who's going to win. Cool, I guess.
And that's not what you want for like what's going to be equate to like 7 hours of wrestling in the 3-day span. Like that.
And I'm not a guy that watches a lot of WXW, so it's like a guy who's watched 7 WXW matches last year knows how it's going to end. I got to imagine loyal viewers really knew how it was going to end. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a couple matches I want to check out, but like I just haven't gotten around to them yet.
Was Naito in the tournament, or was he
Yes.
just there bumming around?
Yeah.
He made it to the maybe the quarterfinals. I don't remember.
He made it to the quarters.
Yeah.
He kind of
how's he
fucking rocked.
doing?
I'm not gonna lie. He was great. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
Fucking
was he
awesome.
trying to like, was he like, okay, this is the 16 karat, I gotta step it up and like work hard, or was he just like in full like t-shirt mode?
Somewhere in between the two, I'd say. I do feel like it felt like watching him put more effort in than he did during his last couple of months in New Japan. Which I think like also fair considering that it seemed like he was just like definitely like on his way out the door. But yeah, I think like in terms of like the matches that did feel like standouts to me, I absolutely loved him versus Aora. He just sort of like kind of went into like working into heel mode a bit for it. Really just like kind of structured the match like pretty well, didn't put himself at risk, did not fall into Destino, which was pretty great for him, all things considered. I liked the couple Eric Stevens matches that I saw. The first one was I think Bobby Guns, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Bobby Guns. I enjoyed that. It's one of those things where, my immediate thought was just like, I love Eric to death. It's just one of those things where I'm just a little confused. Like when you're bringing in like a guy like Eric and he's going over in a tournament like this, doesn't seem like to me like it's the most effective use of like somebody who's been retired for 11 years and hasn't wrestled in your promotion in that long. But I did enjoy that match quite a bit. And I don't know. I honestly both Niner matches were fun for me. I left both of them like feeling like positive about Dieter Schwartz, and I at least saw the appeal of Aora. If I'm getting that name wrong, I apologize. But yeah, I think those would be my standout matches. Would be the Eric Stevens ones. Yamato matches were pretty good as well. All the Yamato matches felt like they ran on like 2 or 3 minutes long, which is not what you want in a tournament like this. But yeah, I think Dan, I think if you don't check out much, I don't think you're going to be too disappointed.
I mean, I gotta watch Spiderfly.
I did not watch Spiderfly, unfortunately.
That's crazy.
I failed you. So I had to watch that Natsupoi. I apologize.
Did you watch? Did you guys watch? Did you guys watch that press conference where Alberto was sitting on a big throne, and like 6 people all came up to challenge him until Noisy Boy jumped off a balcony onto all of them?
No, that sounds awesome.
It was the announcement for Alberto's new failing venture, LM52, and the entire press conference, Alberto's sitting on a huge throne that looked like it was from Pee-wee's Playhouse. Like, it just looked silly, and he's sitting there and just gets continually interrupted by, the usual, dipshits who you assume, like, Tejano Jr. and stuff, coming up until finally Noisy Boy is just up there and just jumps on all of them. Absolutely weird shit.
I love to watch that man jump.
I did watch one other match. I'm so sorry. I'll just say it really quick because it was fucking good. I did also on the 3rd day of the 16 karat tournament watch Chihiro and Danny Luda, which fucking rocked. Definitely the best match of the weekend. I would absolutely highly recommend going out of your way to watch it. I think I like it slightly better than I like the Senka match. Different match, different structure. I think both of them just brought the best out in each other in a really fantastic way. And after seeing so many springboard cutters from European men, it just felt really awesome to like see like a 2 to 3 minute stretch, home stretch of a match that was not built around like sequencing or near falls, but just like the actual struggle of professional wrestling. I think both of them are just so fucking good at doing that. I'm probably one of the high voters in Chihiro. She's my number one for PT 100. And I left this match feeling like, I mean, Danny's great, but I left this match like feeling even higher on Danny than I had. And that's everything I watched this week.
So you said, I think you said multiple times there that Joshi moves you the most. Would you say it moves you 8 centimeters, 12 centimeters, 14 centimeters, or 18 centimeters?
0 centimeters.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
trans woman.
Oh, okay.
That's like a key distinction. It's a key distinction,
I'm
right?
just,
Like,
I'm just checking my DMs, and I just wanted to make sure I got that right. But
are you got some people in your DMs?
But I guess going back to Noisy Boy, Chris, you watch any wrestling this week?
Speaking of moving,
or are you just looking at spreadsheets?
Mostly looking at spreadsheets.
That's better than
and like at times when I wanted like wrestling in the background, I just was like catching up with like stuff that like I had on the watch list, but it wasn't like pressing. Like if I had it on the background and just like peeked up at the things that moved me, worked. And that is to say, I watched some, like I did some AEW catch up. And uh these matches happened 2 months ago, and everyone has probably seen them already. Um
Not me.
the matches I liked were there were 2 of them. There was the El Clone Commander match, which was very fun, and I enjoyed Hachicero versus Mark Briscoe as well. Both of those were just very, very, very solid TV matches um, that I got excited for. Commander versus El Clone, especially because El Clone, uh, part of just the build of his character and establishing him on TV, so he's got a little extra time to shine. Um, Good stuff. The like a bunch of the other matches from the episodes of Dynamite and Collision I watched were just kind of whatever. Like there was uh like Moxley versus Shelton, which was a match I was interested in seeing, but for 2 guys I like, just felt very meandering. Uh like it was it seemed like a match that they booked and was like, uh Shelton's gonna take the pin, like he's gonna lose to Moxley eventually. Uh but he's gonna like almost go to the limit of this eliminator match, and it really, really, really did not need to be 19 minutes. And it just felt like they were like stalling for like good portions of the match. Um, I would love to see like a Moxley versus Shelton Benjamin 9-minute match. Uh, a lot more than like a 19-minute match between them. Uh, there are like various other like kind of classic AEW like, no, this is like perfectly fine TV wrestling. I'm not insulted that I'm watching this, but like most of it did not call out to me in the way uh I wanted. Like Bandito versus Sammy Guevara, like perfectly okay match. Um the the lights out tag match with like Hangman and Swerve versus the Ops was just kind of there. I think the best match on this show, that cage match rated on like a 7 out of 10, was the one match they had a negative grade on, which was Marina Shafir versus Toni Storm. Because the inmates don't respect women. And uh, nobody respects Marina Shafir enough, even though she is
Amen.
Stream Beast. Like, and like the collision, there was like a Death Riders versus Top Flight and Scorpio Sky match, like all stuff that is just like, okay, like this is very watchable, but I don't like need to see this in general, which is fun because largely this was stuff that I had on in the background uh, while I was inputting data into a spreadsheet, and when things necessitated my attention, like El Clone versus Commander or Hechisero versus Mark Briscoe, I watched it. And other than that, I was just like, okay, I can just stare at my laptop instead. And that's kind of where I was at this week.
Hell yeah. Guess getting what I watched. Are you guys familiar with Unsanctioned Pro out of Columbus, Ohio? It feels like I've been to 2 of their shows, and I just don't follow it, and it feels like that's really unfair to them because I wanna read you the first 3 matches of their latest show. Aaron Williams versus Eric Dillinger, Ace Perry versus Danny O'Ryan, and Josh Cranes versus Dominic Garrini. I mean, that just feels like a show for Dan. Like, I was
mean,
excited.
if WWE had those 3 matches, Mania would be sold out by now.
You get it.
That's true.
You get it. So I throw this show on, and all 3 of those matches are varying levels of good. Aaron Williams versus Eric Dillinger, okay match. Ace Perry versus Danny O'Ryan, kind of stupid, but like I find Ace Perry endearing. And then Josh Crane versus Dom Garrini fucking rocks. It's not quite as good as the match they had last year, but these guys just beat the shit out of each other. And I did just actually I think that they had 2 matches last year, but the second one was really, really good. It's 8 minutes long, and it's just 2 guys beating the shit out of each other, and it's just funny because these guys, like, really protect everything and are building up to the pile driver when, like, before that, Ace Perry and Danny O'Ryan are just, like, hitting, destroyers and bullshit like that, but definitely worth going out of your way for. It's on IWTV. I feel like I gotta hit one of these shows up. After that, the show kinda wasn't for me. I mean, it was Rachel Armstrong versus Hunter Drake and Ron Bass Jr. This was fine. It was a 3-way. I think Rachel Armstrong's pretty good. And then the main event of the show was a Rumble match. I don't need to watch an indie Rumble. I don't need to watch any Rumbles really. So
was it? Let me ask a quick question. Was it a Rumble that was distinct from all the other matches, or was it a Rumble that included everyone who had already wrestled on the show?
it included everyone who wrestled on the show except, like, I guess the biggest name on the show so far would be Dom Garrini. He wasn't in it. He went home.
Yeah, he was like, "You're not getting 2 matches out of me for one payday."
Now I did, like, skip along, and I'll say that there were at minimum 2 referees in the Rumble. So that's how you know it's you got a good thing to watch. It went 61 minutes.
Wait, they were wrestling? They were wrestling? The referees were wrestling?
Yeah, the referees,
Oh, so this was a Rumble, not a Battle Royal.
No, it was a Rumble.
Or
It
was it just a battle?
No, it started with 2 men every 90 seconds, and the 90 seconds seem fairly legit. A new person would come in. And like I said, I liked, like, all 4 of the first matches were pretty good, and I really like Crane versus Garrini, and it's 2 hours away from me, so I'm like, let's give this the old college try, and I'm just like, I guess it's cool that Victor Analog's here. There's no world where I'm at that show where I don't leave within 10 minutes of that Rumble starting. I'm sure it was after 8 PM, and I'm like, I gotta go home. But if they run stuff like Crane versus Garrini, I'll follow them. I also watched Shinya Aoki and Tyson Miguchi versus Kentaro Hachusu and Yukimitsu Takahashi. I'm sure I butchered all that, but it was from the last GLEAT show, UWF Rules tag match, and it fucking rocked too. Aoki's starting off strong. I like it because it's like 1 second he's just like the ass kicker MMA fighter, ripping apart people on the ground, but then this really showcased his like kind of his shit stirrer, like, bully side where he's, not letting the other guy tag out. He's arguing with the ref. He talks to the ref so much in this match, and it's so fun.
Mm.
It does go to a 20-minute draw, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, and that's kinda stupid. Doesn't it just feels like you could have had a finish, but that's GLEAT for you. GLEAT's gonna do that. Um, Skipped ahead on that show to watch the main event. It was Soma Watanabe beating Nakajima for the title in like a fun, you know, Nakajima punches him a bunch, knocks him down, and then Watanabe chokes him out. Worth the 6 minutes. And then the only 2 matches I wanted to talk about were I didn't realize that Tajiri and Yuji Nagata are Kyosho Pro Tag Champs.
Hell yeah.
And I watched their latest defense, and I don't think you should watch it. It's against someone named Aso-san and Kaio Yumi. There's really nothing there, but I just love the idea of Tajiri and Yuji Nagata as tag champs, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it. And then the last thing I watched was the Vault that I'm talking about. The Vault put up a Austin versus Rock versus Undertaker versus Kane in a 4-way dark match from November 29th, 1998 in Philadelphia. And the Attitude Era is terrible, but this is what people are talking about when they like it. This is like why everyone remembers it so fondly, because it's just red hot. Austin fucking stuns everybody. You get different pairings. Big Boss Man is the special guest referee for some reason. They do all the fucking there's table spots, there's chair spots, and then it ends with Earl Hebner coming out and confronting the Big Boss Man, and then he drinks a beer with Stone Cold, and like if that's not enough for you, when Stone Cold walks out, Shane McMahon comes out and says The Rock's still WWF champion. Everyone should, cheer for him. Fans cover the ring in trash, and then Austin comes out and stuns everyone all over again. He stuns Shane McMahon. He stuns The Rock. He stuns Briscoe and Patterson and Sergeant Slaughter. And
Who took the best one?
I mean, honestly, probably Shane.
I believe it.
Briscoe's was I only remember Briscoe's because it was bad. I will tell you, Rock does the thing where I think Rock during this like YouTube video that's 15 minutes long, I think he takes 4 stunners. But one of the ones in the post match, he does the thing where he flops backwards, but his legs like hit the ropes, so he just lays like upside down, like in a headstand almost, just slumped against the ropes, and he's there for probably 30 full seconds while Austin's stunning other people drinking beer. And then
that's why Rock's one of the best.
I mean, yeah, because like he does Rock is really good in this because he does that, and then he does the thing where the last stunner is he thinks Austin's left the ring, so he gets on the mic and he goes, "Yeah, you should have left your Rudy Poo, blah blah blah," and then Austin's behind him. One more stunner, and if I was at this show when I was 10 years old in '98, I would have just been fucking shaking. Like, there's nothing cooler than this. I'm sure that I haven't looked it up. I'm sure the rest of the card was garbage, but this was 15 minutes of pure joy.
This is a house show?
No, it's a dark match at the end of a Sunday Night Heat taping.
Oh, fuck. That'd be a great way to end the Sunday Night Heat taping.
Yeah.
Shit.
So, like,
But
I also think if I was there, my mom couldn't have got me out of the arena. I'm like, I'm going to stay. He's going to stun somebody else. You don't know. You don't know what he's going to do. Outside of that, I'm similar to Chris. I watched some AEW. I don't really have anything worth saying. I mean, everyone's watching AEW and they're watching it more recently than me. So, that's all I got about what we've been watching. What's been on the site? Not a whole lot. I already mentioned. Tim did an episode of Q&TR with Danny Wakabe on WXW and a show that I'm not sure. Did any of you guys watch the Death Valley Days Road Report?
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. They talked about it. I've never heard of it. Some kind of show. I don't know. Don't worry, we will not mention it on this show.
Now, let me ask a quick question about that.
Yeah.
I am in the middle of a pretty glowing review of that show. Should I not finish
Oh
it?
no, you can finish it. I will not publish it.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. Okay, what to hear?
Oh man, that was so funny because we all mostly liked it and said to watch it. Now, since then, I'm just gonna come out and say Eric has like got out of his way to basically apologize in my DM, so I can't keep the feud.
That's
I
cute.
can't keep the feud going. But that was like,
I'm glad he apologized to you.
yeah, fuck you and your cat.
Well, you don't deserve an apology.
You're the fucking one he's mad at. You and your
To
fucking
be
cat.
fair,
No, I
that's the thing. To be
honestly, so here's the thing. I spent a week going like, this episode of VPR is just gonna be nothing but us doing jokes about the fucking, Death Valley thing. And I was just kind of like, I don't know if I would, I just kind of want to just brush past it. So shout out to Ollie for like
Yeah,
taking all the focus off of that.
Ollie really did you a solid.
I am actually
Yeah.
not shouting out Ollie.
I was gonna. I also would like to
I'm
go on
going
record.
on- I'm
and say
going
On,
the
beha-
record.
on behalf of the site,
The site says you gotta give it
and
up.
on behalf of Eric from Death Valley Driver,
my
shout out to Ollie.
I was like, if every other promoter listened to every other fucking show or match we talked about, they should be way more upset than Eric.
I mean, I can understand if you take a lot of pride in what you do, and I'm like doing bits and being like, oh yeah, so I didn't pay attention to this match, and I'm just saying it as a joke. Like, I can understand someone who takes pride in their work being offended by that. Like, I was never like,
yeah.
what's this guy's problem? Like, I was like, yeah, no, he,
To me, it was
he's
more
right to be.
because it was public. Like, yeah, like if he was just like in a private, like, oh man, fuck those guys for making a joke of it. We worked so hard. I get that, but I'm like, you are a promoter now. You can't really cry about it in public, is my opinion. I don't know.
I just didn't think that, like, I was just kind of like, all right, yeah, cool. Well, unlike most of the people who fucking watch that thing, I actually pay for my IWTV subscription.
Oh shit.
So,
It's a fair
you
point.
know, like, all right.
Oh. The whole time I just kept thinking, we ended it by saying there's no reason in the world not to watch this show. Everyone listening, go watch this show. It's like,
Yeah.
that should be what you want, but I don't know. But yeah, I guess
It was much. I've got, while we talk, I've got Superpower Slam on the TV on mute. Death Valley Days, so far from what I've seen, about 3,000 times better than Superpower Slam. So,
Yeah.
Oh, I lied. I had one more match. Joey Janela versus Mad Dog Conley. One of the worst Mad Dog matches. Don't watch it. Also, there's like these weird, like the lights have like a.
was this a new one or
Well, it's the one
when
that
was
took
this?
place this year. At the it was in Cincinnati. It was close to me for that Warrior Wrestling.
When did that happen? Oh, for Warrior. Okay,
Yeah,
no wonder.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
Warrior Wrestling. That company might as well not be real.
It,
The fakest promotion in the world.
Yeah, it had like these weird like like strobe light effect, and like it hurt my head to watch outside of just hurting my head to watch. So
That's kind of awesome, though. It's like, all right, this is literally a death match for epileptic people.
oh, but
So, my report, by the way, on Superpower Slam, I think this Willow versus Mara Sade match is entering hour 7.
it's just getting good.
Good. Good.
Shit. Blue
Hey,
Jackets lost, guys.
There's like
I don't know.
there's like 2 matches that are watchable on that show. One of them people pretended was not awesome. But Dan and I will be vindicated.
Oh my god, that sounds like good news. I'm really excited.
We talked about Superpower Slam. I'm talking about Mad Dog versus
No, I know, but I
PWH.
thought that was maybe like a little tease for the VP 100.
No, I'm just saying we will be vindicated by history.
Well,
Yeah, no,
By
we
history,
need to.
okay.
All right, Big Top is all of us calling all of the voters of the VP 100 a bunch of fucking morons.
You guys are a bunch
Because
of morons.
once again, I am so goddamn mad at you people.
But
Like,
this isn't public, guys. Should we be talking about this?
I'm not gonna say who was or wasn't on the list, other than to say, like, everyone on my ballot is not on the list.
And that's
And
outrageous.
Justice for
and that is an
Brinley.
affront.
I cannot get over how fucking you guys need to just fix your lives.
Now listen, I don't want to get on the wrong side.
Whatever is wrong with you inside, whatever makes you so unhappy that you have to hurt yourself by watching for and then tricking yourself into thinking they are worthy of inclusion into the BP 100, the names that I've seen so far. You need to do whatever reach out to your community, find a support group, get a hobby, do drugs, like, gamble. I don't know. You can do that on Chumba Casino now. We've got ads for it on the podcast.
I tried it. The Blue Jackets
But-
would have won by 1. I would have won $54. That's why I was so upset.
Fuck.
Yeah, we need to talk to you people about that too. But
What about Dan's gambling?
no, about how they should have done 1 point better.
Thank you.
Okay.
But
Now you're on my side, so I don't want to go against you.
you guys need to shave those points for Dan.
But Pat, if I put a gun to your head, how much of your list could you name, do you think? Is it more than 50?
At least 10 people.
Okay. I didn't think it was more than 50.
Sabu.
I mean, the end of my list is definitely getting into, like, I don't want to do a 50-person ballot, but I don't feel strongly enough to do anything but just name people.
It's the way to do it.
I mean, so I fully know that I will be the only voter for Cocaine and Alice Crowley and God knows who else. But
I imagine Chris's first post is going to have a lot of high vote Pat.
it's going to have a lot of one voter, high voter PTO.
Yeah, PTO 99, PTO 98, PTO 97.
Yeah,
it does have quite a bit of that. It does have like La Pat, La Ty.
and I'm writing blurbs for all of them. I'm submitting blurbs for all 100 of my people.
I can't wait to read the cocaine blurb.
It's good. It's just going to be me recounting the time on JCW where Big Vito is, like, Cocaine goes into the bathroom to do cocaine, and Big Vito exits the men's room stall, drops his hat on the floor, puts his hat back on, and then starts beating him up. Which is sublime wrestling television in terms of just being the stupidest goddamn thing you've ever seen, but somehow magic for it. I don't know. You guys need to just, like, heal
Fix
yourselves.
your hearts or die.
Fix your hearts or die. Stop watching this, like, fucking deadlock stuff. Watch things that are actually good for your soul.
Well, I've got great news for you on that front.
Oh yeah. What's the new deadlock? We need to. Who's our enemy now?
PPP Tokyo, in my opinion.
I hate to say it might be.
No.
Action
Hey,
Wrestling.
we are allied.
It might be Action Wrestling. That's fair.
No, people aren't going to watch like regular action shows.
That's true.
Maybe Tim Bosby matches, but like not like the full shows.
Maybe it's Jersey Championship Wrestling. I mean, I think they might be the new super indie.
Isn't Orange Crush starting his own thing? Is that something I saw?
He's doing like a
Ish.
produce show. I
Oh,
think.
okay. We're just gonna say we.
All right.
hate it
Well,
right
we'll get his ass for that one.
now.
Get it? Produce orange.
Does
Oh.
Orchid's like, okay, well now I'm in.
Yeah, I do like oranges.
Oranges
One
are
of-
pretty good.
One of the best fruits.
Absolutely. I mean, in the top 3 of my BP 100 ballot, which,
have to admit,
again, as we've established, means nothing.
I
Yeah,
did a
I'm
50
gonna-
ballot of fruit. I gotta be
I'm
honest.
gonna.
I've never felt more alone in my entire life.
Next year we're getting rid of this whole wrestling nonsense. We're just doing top 100 fruits, and we're gonna see who comes out. Like, and that is something that might actually make me mad because I bet there's
that would make me so much more mad than this wrestling
This
bullshit.
is so much more work for Chris, but yeah, every month it should just be a new topic. Fruit,
Oh, I
veggies.
love this.
We no longer talk about wrestling. We just rank
Oh,
things.
you think these wrestling fans are
Eating veggies?
eating veggies?
That's
Come
true.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you would have to, have a lengthy thing like disqualify. Like, no, Starbursts are not a fruit. It doesn't matter what they're flavored like.
Now, I was actually gonna say again. I'm coming at Pat here. I've seen the list, not the order, just the list of 100 names. I was actually pretty. I don't want to spoil anything. I was pretty happy. There's only like 2 or 3 guys I don't like, and those guys are all
I
one.
mean, like I said, the issue is just that I now feel that everyone is against me
Yeah.
for voting differently than me.
Well, they are.
In
Fair,
ways.
yeah.
No, I enjoyed sending out to all the blurb people that alphabetical 100 because you would be like, "Oh yeah, this is awesome." And it's like, what the fuck? Why is this guy here?
I do the same thing Pat does when I see the list for the first time. I go, "This is crazy. It's not identical to me." It's like my brain's like, "I didn't put this guy on my ballot. Why would he be in the top 100?"
I was very angry, and I'm not going to mention why yet, but I'm sure everybody could parse that together.
I think I said our other part of the big top would be, we all watched one match that we all watched the same. Is that correct?
Boy, did we.
Necro Butcher versus Macaro.
We did.
Who wants to start?
Dan, I think you should do that. Or was it you or Chris who Phil Schneider scooped?
That was Chris.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, Chris. Phil Snyder recommended this match. Got me a link.
Yeah, I did post a screenshot of a group chat that we're in, because I like when Pat shared it, and there were only like 17 views at the time. I shared it in this group chat.
He was currently.
And
Oh, you know what I meant to check. Speaking of views, when we talked about the Ray Dragon versus Io del Tarahumara video, it was at like 140 views. I just looked at it this afternoon. It's up to 344 views.
That's the VPR bump.
that's the
That's the
VPR.
VPR bump.
Uh,
More views than Macquaro versus Necro Butcher currently.
Yeah, so I posted that a few days ago, and then today Phil also shared it in the DM just to continue the Violent People versus Segunda Caída feud, ignoring my scoops that are really Pat scoops, to
I mean, I
one up
got it
me.
off someone. I got it off someone in the OGP Discord. So that said, with the person we really give credit to is I follow these guys on YouTube. Caustic Lucha Extrema Hardcore, or CLE for short, I guess.
They
Yeah, shout out.
I like that they apologize for they're like, sorry, I wasn't able to bootleg this better.
Yeah,
the
they do fan
translation.
cams of. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, the translation on this video is, quote, "This is what I was able to record since the media did not allow us to see it well and everyone rushed to action, apologizing for not recording it well."
So I think
Usually
that
he's
felt
a pretty
important.
reliable fan cam guy for Zona 23.
Yeah,
But in this, most of your view is the back of someone's head.
yeah, I think that's my biggest takeaway is, man, we really should have waited for the pro shot. But it's Zona 23, so it's like, will you ever get one?
Zona 23, you remember on The Simpsons when Homer becomes 300 pounds and he does his work by setting up the
He's got
dipping bird to
the
just
little
tap
bird,
the
yeah.
key over and over again?
100%.
That's kind of how Zona does their camera cuts, where just every 4 seconds the camera rotates to another camera, regardless of if anything's happening near that camera or not. So you get like Macquaro in the middle of stapling something to someone's head, and then the camera cuts to like a tire. It really is almost avant-garde.
Now, Orchid, you told me you had notes on this. What are your notes?
Most of them are I hate Pat. I typed that 4 times. I don't know why I'm blaming Pat for this. Because we all know Chris is, the moral good
Yeah, I
of the
mean, if
podcast.
anything, this match is Dan versus Chris. Dan's the Necro guy. Chris is the Makwaro fan. I'm innocent.
Yeah,
as
Pat
always.
for his left.
Pat is just a guy standing in front of the person with the camera blocking the view.
Yeah. Holding up my phone in front of the other guy's phone so that the recording is just of someone else's phone.
Some other notes that I've taken was that I like that somebody started a CZW chant. That felt really special to me. Another note I have here is that it has been 3 minutes since I could see anything.
Yeah.
Then I then I have nice blade jobs, and then I have it has been 2 minutes since I've been able to see anything. And then there are a lot of I hate Pats in between those last couple of comments. Then it says I can't see anything again. Then I have shout out to the dude who gave his homie a piggyback ride. Did y'all happen to catch that? A little piggyback ride?
Yeah.
Mid-match?
Yep.
That was fucking great. That might have been my highlight. My biggest takeaway was I'm glad to know that in Zona 23, it's a place where you can get a piggyback ride from your home.
Yeah, gotta give your homie a piggyback ride.
That's one of my only 4 things I've written down. I also wrote down, why is this guy trying to hand him a dollar bill also squatting to get out of the way of imaginary camera? There's no camera behind him, but he's in like a full squat trying to hand the dollar bill to Makoro as if he's like, I got to duck down so I don't block anyone, but there's no one behind him. And I was fascinated by him, and I'm like missing the match. I was like, why are you slouched like that? Yeah, that
I will also
Necro
shout out
came
the
out
guy
in
in
the
the
hat.
crowd who excuse me. I want to shout out the guy who had the Makwaro paper hat. I'm sorry. I don't know why my throat dried up all of a sudden. The guy in the crowd who had the Makwaro paper hat and the Dennis Rodman Bulls jersey.
That guy rocked.
Now I was wondering, is that the hat that Necro came out in?
That's a good question. Unfortunately, it's impossible to tell from this video because, like most of it, it must have happened off camera.
But yeah, Necro comes out in a Makoro paper hat, immediately starts smoking.
Yeah, he really, really paying tribute to the great Bobby Guns by coming out smoking a cigarette. Does Bobby Guns still do that?
That's a question for Orchid.
Is it? Yeah, actually, yep, he did. I forgot that entirely. But Homeboy was absolutely smoking. Yeah, he was smoking his way out to the ring. I don't know if he did mid-match. I don't think he did mid-match.
I mean, yeah, he wouldn't do it in the match. He'd just come down to the ring smoking a cigarette. I'm just always kind of like, I don't know why. It's just a German guy named Bobby Guns coming down to the ring smoking a cigarette. I'm like, something about this is just so unseemly.
I like that. That's where you draw the line.
I mean, I'm not gonna draw. I mean, no, I'm
That's
fucking
the point.
watching
You're not
Necro
drawing a
Butcher
line.
versus Makwaro. I'm just saying it's unseemly.
Yeah, good point.
Oh my gosh. As good as this match was, and I think it's gonna be really great when you can see it. What would have been better is I want a camera following Necro through the other things he was doing in Mexico.
Oh, good point.
I don't
what
want that. I actually don't want to see that. I am once again going on the record as not. As the
like
moral
just
good.
Watching it might make you an accessory after the fact somehow.
Holy shit. Well, did you see the
Plus, I
Makoro
mean,
match
you
they
know,
announced for April?
people would use it to cancel Necro Butcher.
Can't
God
have that
forbid.
happen.
That would suck. Oh, but did you see they announced the Makoro versus Wotan for next month?
Yeah.
I just I could go with the 2026 full of Makoro dream matches.
This was my
mean,
first Makara match, and I'm gonna need a list.
This is a weird one to start with. You don't see most of it.
But the little bits I did see, I did enjoy it quite a lot. I really enjoyed. I mean, it wasn't Makara doing this. I mean, great blade jobs from both of them. Necros when they finally he finally got back in camera again. I was like shocked almost by how fucking good it was. I'm a big fan of the way he took plastic chair hurling. That I popped pretty hard for that. I'm big on Makara.
Yeah,
The thing with
I'm deep.
the thing with Makwaro is that he's almost kind of like he's one of those wrestlers who's a spirit of a place. Like the Zona 23 Junkyard is like the personification of that is Makwaro. And the people love him accordingly. The easiest example I can give you is someone like Tommy Dreamer
Yeah.
in ECW, where he just kind of is the ECW
Yeah.
arena. And then once ECW closed down, he, got addicted to drinking Undertaker's dip spit and got super fat. And, now he just kind of looks like he's dying 24/7. But he's like the heart and soul of Zona,
Sure.
and the people respond to him that way.
I'm gonna go ahead and read what Necro posted on Facebook after this match. Back home safe from
Oh no.
Mexico. Drank all night
Just
Friday.
Dan, you don't have to use all the words he uses,
I might add a few more.
even if
Drank
you're
all night
quoting.
Friday, drank all day Saturday, did the Red Roof Inn gimmick all night Sunday, I think he means. Oh no, Saturday. Then flew to Mexico City, rocked the fucking house like only I can, then flew home and had a 14-hour power nap, went back to work. Who can party like me? Who can fight like me? Thank you to everyone who shared the week with me. I won't incriminate anyone by mentioning them. Big thanks to the fans of Mexico City. I hadn't been there in 9 years, but just like old times, they mobbed me after the match. Check out the videos. I legit couldn't move. It took me almost an hour to make sure they all got their photos and autograph, but I did it. Then I got a few stitches, took photos with the medics. Then we drank Victoria's all night long. When the beer was gone, I even had a beautiful senorita give me a bracelet. At first, I thought she was trying to tie me up, but luckily that was not the case. Zona 23, I will be back, and I'll bring my friends with me.
oh, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So by the Red Roof Inn gimmick, he just means like doing coke in a hotel
Doing
room
coke
with a bunch
and
of strangers,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because the day before that, he was at the local wrestling show, which, by the way, I think I mentioned that last week. The Cowards moved it indoors because it was raining and out of the junkyard. But his whole thing was he wasn't wrestling. He was just drinking beers and smoking weed with VIP fans. And he started before the fans got inside. He was like, "Where is everybody? Oh, I guess the doors don't open for another hour." And he's already drinking inside the venue. And I love that. I love the idea
I'm
of
sure I've
paying
mentioned
money
this
just
before.
to
Have you ever watched the XPW show where he did commentary?
yes.
Yeah, and it's like they come back from intermission and you can just hear it like, oh, all the booze finally kicked in. Like the first half, he's just having fun and being Necro. Just Necro being Necro, as Dave Meltzer would put it. And second half of the show, he is blitzed, and they do not take his microphone away. It is easily the best commentary XPW's ever had.
I'm just sorry. I'm just scrolling through like the last 2 weeks of Necro on Facebook. That's the only one I can read out loud legally on the
Yeah, I believe it.
I can't
Yeah,
read any of those other ones.
Yeah, Necro during wartime.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Just I'm sure he had some thoughts on the Ayatollah.
He's got some thoughts. He's got some AI artwork involving the Ayatollah. It's all good. But I mean, sometimes he's just like, "Hey, I'm drinking," but then when he's not documenting the drinking, he has thoughts and he's putting it out there. But yeah, this match, I wanted it to be the big top, like I said, but I think we're mostly just gonna have to wait for the pro shot. It looks fucking awesome in the 9 minutes we get to see of the 22-minute video.
Yeah, I can't wait until Necro brings all of his friends to Zona
Now,
23.
who are Necro's friends in 2026?
Pondo?
Joe
Holy
Dredd,
shit.
Mickey Knuckles.
Oh, Mickey Knuckles, yeah.
I
I mean-
mean, Mickey Knuckles in Zona 23 would be
That'd be
sick
fucking
as hell.
great.
Mickey Knuckles versus La Brava would be a sick match.
I think we're just trying to book a Mickey Pondo. We're just doing a JCW versus Zona 23 versus. Fuck
Yeah, let's
working with.
get
I'm
Too Tough
there for it.
Tony.
Yeah.
Just line it up, Violent J. All right. You guys got anything else? You want to get into some of these questions?
I'm good. Actually, there's one with the PvP Tokyo. What's the name of the woman with the baseball bat?
I mean, I've watched 2 shows.
It's
I'm gonna
Ichiba something like Echidna.
give me a minute. I'll get there.
There's one of the woman
Um,
where her thing is she comes to the ring with a baseball bat, and
do
she
you mean David Ortiz?
yes, I mean Big Poppy David Ortiz.
Oh man, David Ortiz and Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling.
Yeah,
Give me that.
just throwing those women 3 rows into the stands.
Oh my god.
The woman you speak of is named Itida Miyabi. Itida Miyabi.
Yes, Ichida Miyabi.
Itika.
She had a pretty sick match with Risa Serra, where they were using the
Oh, I
bat
believe
and
it.
chairs and stuff like that. That was a fun match. I recommend people who want to see a hardcore match check that one out. It's pretty good.
Say it one more time for me.
It was in
Itika
PP.
Miyabi.
Oh, it's from the December show?
My
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, okay. No, David Ortiz reminded me, this is probably not even for the air, I just wanted to share it with Pat. I met a fellow Bostonian last night.
Oh yeah. I've been waiting for this.
It was a chef. They called themselves a chef. They worked at the Charleston Civic Center. The chef there was very loud, very boisterous woman who kept saying, "It's okay if I harass men. I'm not gay or straight. I'm nothing." And she comes over to me at one point, and she's like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm from Kentucky. I was born in this area, but I spent most of my life in Cleveland." She's like, "I could tell it's my accent." She goes, "I'm not from here either." I'm like, "I can tell." She's like, "I'm from Boston, and I just got here. And let me tell you about this place." And I'm like, "Okay, I love this place." She goes, "I love it too, but there's one thing that's wrong with it, and it's racism." And I was like, "You know what? I'm a very proud Appalachian, but I see what you're saying. Like, I'm not going to argue that." And she goes, "They're so fucking racist against white people around here."
Yeah,
Yep.
in Cleveland. Yeah.
No. This is in West Virginia.
Yep.
She's in West
Oh,
Virginia.
even better.
She's in West Virginia. The minuscule black population, I guess, is just really systematically working against her in her chef career. And then she spends the whole event where she's supposed to be, I think, ideally making food, talking about how racist black people are against her.
Well, now you know why we drove her out of Boston, because she wasn't fucking doing her job and making our food.
And it was really fun.
Boston historically not a race. Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
talking about
Boston, never,
racism.
Oh, yeah.
never
My
problematic.
apologies.
That's why I thought it was funny
Speak-
too. I was gonna say, like, well, Boston has some issues too, but
Speaking of, oh yeah, no, but Michael Che called us the most racist city in America for a reason. But speaking of problematic people from Boston, I actually have an update because I think it was last week someone asked what's the worst mail delivery you've ever had to do,
oh, here we go.
and I just kind of said like anytime it rains. But no, within this past week I have a definitive answer for that. Occasionally you go up to people's doors and they see you coming, so before you get to their mailbox, like they'll be at the door saying, "Oh, you can just hand me the mail." There was one house where this happened. It was a gentleman I've never met before.
Do you guys like
I've
that?
been
Not
obviously.
to interrupt, but do you guys like that? Should I stop doing that?
I don't care.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Alright.
It's
I'm just trying to
it's not,
impress.
there are people who like dash down their steps and be like, "Let me save you the stairs," and I always appreciate that. This, there were no stairs, but this guy comes out. It's my first time meeting him. He is wearing a t-shirt, a Patagonia fleece vest, and his boxers. This is around 10:30 a.m. He's an older gentleman, and the boxers he's wearing are not the kind of boxers with a button on the fly.
Okay.
And they are just like hanging open, and his long white pubes are sticking out of it. And it's like I see this as I'm walking up, and I'm like, I cannot look down. Like it's like Matt Tremont's forehead when I got that picture with him. It's like you can't look at that. He'll see me looking at that. So and then I had to make small talk with him for a minute, and the entire time I'm trying to think like, do I tell this guy that his fucking Santa Claus pubes are sticking out of his boxer shorts? And I'm like, well, he's just gonna go back into his house after he gets his mail, so why bother? But that was a very uncomfortable thing. Then he started DMing me about K-pop,
Fuck me. God.
So that's the worst delivery ever?
That is so far.
All right.
That's the only delivery where I've seen an old man's pubes.
I was at a pool party where an old man was telling a story, and one of his balls fell out, and he got really mad when someone pointed it out. He's like, "Will you let me finish talking?" And I think about him like once a week. I'm like, he's really he needed to finish that fucking story.
He had his priorities in order.
Let's get to these fucking questions. I'm sure some of them are good. I'm not sure of that. All right, Smoltz says, Q for P. This is about Matt Riddle saying Elon Musk should buy the WWE. Would Grok produce a better or worse product than current WWE?
I think the same.
I say
think that
lateral. Yeah, it seems
Yeah,
like
I think
Yeah.
Rock is already producing it.
Because the thing is, Grok has no ability to generate new ideas. It can only digest what's already been created and then at best reconfigure it or rearrange the chairs. So it would just be what we're getting, like, but just like, okay, this time Rhea Ripley faces Julia. It would just kind of be a snake eating its own tail.
I think the one thing that might make it interesting is the fact that it's going to potentially like screw up like rosters, like if like Gronk's bad and not accurate a lot of the time. So I wouldn't be shocked if like like they're doing some like bookings where it's like for the main event of WrestleMania we're gonna get CM Punk versus Johnny TV, and that might not be worse. I'm not sure.
Actually, no, it would screw it up because it'd be like, for the main event of WrestleMania, we're getting CM Punk versus Yokozuna.
That might be a good match. I think Phil could pull it off. I'm talking about current state Yoko. I'm talking about
Yeah,
talking
no,
about as
I mean,
forms. Yeah.
it would be one Bill Phil's audition for his Yoshihiko match.
I'm assuming I'm the only one on this podcast who has watched WWE Unreal, right?
I've only
Probably.
seen clips of it. I've not watched that show.
The thing that's really impressive about that show is the amount of white men it takes to sit at a conference table and the hours that they spend there to make a decision that Chelsea Green should probably not win the Royal Rumble. It's like, wow, you guys put a lot of labor into this to make that decision, and shouts to you.
Yeah, who wants a bunch of white men sitting around talking about wrestling?
Hey, I'm trans.
You pretty definitively said you're not the fourth member of the podcast, so
Oh fuck yeah, it's a good point.
nice. Next question,
right.
Pork. Riddle me this
I-
VP. Oh, sorry.
I do think we need to cancel the WWE writing staff for sitting around ranking women.
True.
Pork. Riddle me this VPR. What local strip clubs do you want your chosen sports team to honor? I had already pointed out that this last weekend, I think on last Friday, James Harden was at a local Speedway giving away or selling bottles of his wine in Cleveland. Now that he's a Cavalier. And I have to believe that he stopped by the Crazy Horse Airport that's like 5 minutes away from there. And the Crazy Horse is a tried and true Cleveland tradition, and I hope they honor them.
Very easy answer for me here. I'm gonna have to go with the former may they rest in peace, La Chicas Bonitas on
Ooh.
Frontage Road here in Austin, Texas. When recently there was a decision to rezone some of the businesses that still on Frontage Road on I-35, and a bunch of companies were going to be like losing their license. They ended up getting it extended, but all those establishments did have to close. This was around the corner from my house. Every establishment got knocked down besides Chica's Bonitas, which stayed up illegally for 6 months.
Fuck yeah.
Before one day they just spray painted "Go to" and then another strip club underneath it. What an establishment. An Austin landmark lost to time. Fuck you, Elon.
Pat, who
So
are the
I don't even know if it's still open, but I'm just gonna say the New England Patriots should shout out the King's Inn on Route 6 in Dartmouth. Um, I have no idea if it's still it was a biker-owned strip club. So it would just be awesome to have the New England Patriots there, like, buying meth.
Chris?
Uh, yeah, I think the Milwaukee Bucks or Brewers should pay tribute to the Encore here in Milwaukee. Uh, One of the most upstanding establishments that I can think of. I've never been in there, but I have heard the vibes are not great.
I wish you wouldn't have mentioned the Bucks because that reminded me I didn't scroll up enough and I forgot this question for the pod. Who would you rather have as a landlord, slumlord, Giannis or me?
I'd
Probably you, and
probably have
I don't sit.
I'd probably have an easier time getting in touch with you.
Yeah. You know some ways. Uh, From Pork, question for the podcast. Thoughts on ICW No Hold Barred's commentary calling Eric Ryan one of the best pure wrestlers, not just in death matches, but in all of wrestling? I think that's fair. Like he's one of the best, as in like one of the top 500, top 700.
But he's not one of the top 100. I'm gonna spoil that for everyone.
Ooh, Eric Ryan did not make
Oh,
the cut.
fuck.
But yeah, I heard them say that on commentary, and my first thought was like, I need Dan's take on this because this seems like them just like, I don't know what this. I'm just gonna start saying stuff.
Eric Ryan is better than Bobby Beverly,
Well, yeah,
and Eric Ryan is on a lot of shows where he's one of the better wrestlers, but that is not the compliment it may seem. Chris, I don't wanna spoil well, who was the high vote on Eric Ryan this year?
Pat,
Pat, okay. Pat, did you vote for Eric Ryan?
yeah,
What the fuck,
yeah.
man?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I had him in the 60s, mid
Oh
to
my
50s.
god.
Mr. 50s, Eric Ryan.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's what they call him.
Question for this goddamn podcast from Pork. How high would Bam get on the VP 100 with 83 points?
Uh, Around like 425, depending on how many ballots he made.
Okay, alright. Pork
Did you guys see the person complaining that like on Twitter that they should have benched Bam at 81 points out of respect for Kobe?
I did see that.
I fucking love that.
That was just the most deranged thing I've read all day.
Did you see all of O'Shea Jackson's
Oh,
tweets
I
about
No,
Kobe?
I for my own mental health, I do not look at
Shit,
anything
I
that
didn't, and
fucking dipshit
I'm
says.
so sad I didn't.
It was
oh, you gotta,
it,
you
it
gotta.
is so deranged.
I'm like,
He
I'm
went
running on a keyboard
he
right
went straight from he went straight to like getting mad about bloodline shit to putting on full conspiracy hat galaxy brain about the NBA conspiracy against Kobe.
He called into question the results of the 2017 NBA Finals because of
Oh my god, there's
Bam
so
Adebayo.
much here.
He went Pizzagate with this. I love him. Oh my god. I bet he has the softest like race car bed. You know, like today. Like, you know, like he definitely sleeps on a race car bed, right?
I thought you were
Like
about to say,
he's
I
a
bet he
grown
has the
adult.
softest spot on his head.
Well, you said it.
I'm like a useless host now because I am just in awe of these tweets. Holy shit, I gotta read that later. Oh my
No,
god.
I'm
I'm
looking at them
sorry.
too. They're
Oh,
something.
guys, before stop what you're doing. Pause this, read all that, then come back to this. That's holy shit. I'm not gonna ask that Pork. You're pissing me off. Nick Yeoman, Q4TP. Which wrestler would do the best job portraying Paul Walter Hauser in a biopic of his life? Hmm.
Otis.
Which Otis?
Yuki Kamafuko.
Otis from WWE.
Okay, I'm gonna do the Kogar.
I'm going Yuki Kamafuko from
Shit.
MLW.
Chris?
It's a direct inverse to what who Paul Walter Hauser should play in a biopic of a wrestler, and Ian Rotten should play Paul Walter Hauser in a biopic of Paul Walter Hauser. They can play each other.
All right. These next 3 questions from Eamon, Sam, and Nick Yeoman, they're all around the same topic here. How are negotiations going with Jerry Lawler, the draw of the new Violent People logo? Sam, who has done your favorite submission for a Violent People logo thus far? Nick Yeoman, which wrestler would you most like to see given free reign to design Dan's cover-up tattoo? I want to say, first off, no one's blowing my fucking socks off. You know what I mean? None of these are going on my skin just yet. You guys are letting a pervert named Ollie show you up. So let's get some better shit out there.
The wrestler I would like most to give Dan a tattoo is Yuki Kamafuko.
That's fair.
So I saw on Instagram today that Facade and Terra Zep have given each other tattoos. And I'm just kind of like, oh, warning sign.
That's beautiful, honestly.
That's it. Terra Zep, professional tattoo artist. So you could get her to tattoo your cover up, Dan.
If I was gonna have a wrestler, what I can only think of Nate Treesize, his real name. Eddie Only from 440 is a tattoo artist out of Cleveland, and I'll definitely let him do it. But it's got to be only if Ricky Champagne is there.
In the tattoo or just present?
Both. I want him present so he has he can look at Ricky to make sure he's doing a good job. Like, okay, that's what Ricky looks like. This is a crazy question.
And what happens if he's doing a bad job?
I guess start over
because
again.
You can't really
Just keep starting over.
I mean, it's not like you can take his eraser and just rub it on your arm.
Well, I guess I would say in the middle of it, are you DMing any women inappropriately? No? You're doing a great job so far. Haven, question for the pod. What's the best sport?
Well, I can't say basketball anymore because it's fake.
I'm questioning everything about it, yeah.
I'm going to say walking because it's good for you. Competitive walking. People should do that in some kind of league.
I will say this is if I'm ranking sports I watch, it's probably especially if you consider combat sports, it's probably so far down the list. Best live sport to go to, baseball game.
Baseball is by far the best to go to.
Yeah, it's not even really close to me.
I guess I'd go basketball. I like basketball.
Chris?
Bowling.
There's a bowling documentary coming out on HBO Max or something, right? Looks fucking good as hell. It looks good as hell. It's your favorite sport, you know? Well, I guess it's not your favorite sport. You said it's the best sport.
Yeah,
best sport, man.
Hopefully someone can explain this pork question to me. Would you rather be the Straw Hat Z Fighter of the Hidden Leaf Village, a 10-time Pokemon champion of the Kanto region, or the co-host of the No Contest Wrestling podcast?
All right, so this is O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s Twitter bio.
So for me, it's fuck 10 time Pokemon champion of the Kanto region, marry the Straw Hat Z Fighter of the Hidden Leaf Village, and murder the co-host of the No Contest Wrestling podcast.
Holy shit!
That is the correct answer.
That was so good. That was not a bit. I didn't know what that was about. I love that.
I just looked at that. Yeah, increasingly, Pork is asking. He's doing it just to be annoying. I don't know what we did to deserve this kind of acting out.
Well, to be fair, I think I did book him last week, and then said, "Oh no, Orc is on. Maybe you can be on."
Yeah, but he should take that out on you, not the rest of us.
I love him, Pork's on. It's also 4 a.m. his time or some stupid shit. He should not be doing this at this time of night. Cole, Q for the P. What is your pick for best picture this year?
I mean, Sinners is going to win.
I want
Well, that's not the
F1 to
question,
win
though,
so
right?
badly.
F1 would be the funniest.
F1 would be so fucking funny if it won Best Picture.
So I guess what would you want to win of the let's do that, of the nominees?
I think the one that resonated most with me of the ones that I've seen was One Battle After Another. So
Chris?
I wouldn't be displeased with Sinners winning, but I think just from a personal perspective, One Battle After Another hit me the best.
Yeah, I would go One Battle After Another or Marty Supreme.
Yeah, my answer is Marty Supreme. But
I fucking hated Marty Supreme. That movie sucked dick.
oh shit.
I
And
think
then I see people being like, the soundtrack was good, and I'm just like, are you fucking smoking cocaine in the movie theater? Like what?
They don't like when you do that.
Yeah,
from what I've
and
seen,
but apparently it gives you bad taste in music if you do it.
I just want anything other than One Battle After Another. I know it's a contrarian opinion around here, but I thought that was a really bad movie. And I think like what did it, I would have loved it if no other choice. That would probably be my pick of what I've seen from last year.
Oh, I thought we were just going from the Best Picture noms.
Yeah, I limited myself there, but Frankenstein, bad movie?
Oh,
I went to a theater
yeah,
to watch it. It started, and then I fell asleep.
Like,
The Guillermo
Okay.
del Toro experience.
yeah,
truly.
really bad movie. Weird to nominate, but all right.
I paid money, and then I woke up like near the end of the movie, and I was just like, "Motherfucker, I could have done this at home."
I don't know. I sometimes like a movie theater nap. I've done it a time or two. Uh,
It is like being in a womb.
Zeomax wants to know what our favorite Digimon is.
I don't know any.
Brother, I'm 40.
Yeah,
Same. Like the only Pokemon I know are from Red and Blue. Digimon, I I don't even know where to start. Um, all right, so we're gonna hit up Google.
You gonna go
Let's
through them all
ask.
now?
you go through
No,
the whole list. Or?
what is the sexiest Digimon?
Oh my god. Some Reddit user
Complete
Weeb Ollie
complete
says
female Digimon tier list, community rankings, top 10 sexiest Digimon. What? All right, let's go with what's the sexiest male Digimon? Someone on Reddit says, we all know that Hot Rosemon, Lilithmon, and Renomon are hot, but what about male-looking Digimon? Leomon is a hot, buff, furry dude who's such a nice guy. So I'm gonna say Leomon.
well, he's a nice guy. I like
Does
that.
anybody
Yeah,
does
that's good.
anybody notice how his voice changes when he starts reading user lists? Like he becomes a completely different person. It's very unsettling.
I don't notice it.
Cole.
I honestly don't.
Well, you listen every week, don't you?
You fucking kidding me?
Question for the pod: have you guys considered adding a segment where you all take your shirts off and tweet The Rock? Now, I don't know how this would work because do we all separately do this, or do we like Photoshop all of us together and then tweet it at The Rock?
It doesn't specify
Yeah.
what we're tweeting The Rock.
Oh, I was showing him the picture of us with our shirts off.
The funniest fucking thing in wrestling, it was the Biff Busick one where they do that. And Biff is like driving them insane trying to coach them. So it's like, we just want to pose like, want to? Want to? And he keeps repeating that over and over until it just starts losing whatever little meaning it had. Until finally they send The Rock this absolutely fucking demented picture of Biff Busick shrugging while doing they do that fourth gun hashtag. I think Trent's holding a dog. It is just, that is the shoot interview thing that I go back and rewatch over and over.
See, I think I've talked about it on here. I will always love the Teddy Hart on Best Friends because of the look on Trent's face of what the fuck have we done?
Actually, you know what? Another favorite is they did that with Jack Evans, and The Rock actually replied. So they filmed all this shit during Bola, but it only came out months later. So during Bola, Jack Evans is it was the Jack Evans versus Chris Hero match, where in the middle of a 15-hour-long PWG show, Jack Evans manages to make the crowd hate him because everyone's hot and miserable. They've been there 7 hours already. And he just cuts this promo that will not end. He just keeps talking and talking and talking. And he's rambling about how he's the only wrestler that The Rock respects, The Rock's favorite wrestler. And at the time I saw it, I'm like, oh, he's just like rambling. And then I see the Best Friends shoot interview that came out months later. And it's like, oh, he's referencing in the middle of the show, he's referencing something from the shoot video that wouldn't come out for another few months.
To answer Cole's question directly, we have considered it, and you're welcome. Not saying I just took my shirt off and tweeted at The Rock, but I might have.
Guys, I can't keep opening Twitter while I'm supposed to be reading questions.
Don't then. Just read the
No,
questions.
you guys are you're making it.
We'll have next week too.
Do what I do and set your phone down and then just pace around the room while you talk.
All right.
So that you're never near your laptop or your notebook when you need it.
Doga Boy, question for the pod. What is your favorite way to disrespect Kobe?
Respecting women.
Ooh.
Oh,
See, I just whenever anyone is talking about Kobe online, I've got a Google alert for whenever people are talking about Kobe, and I just reply to it with, "Why isn't there a white Mamba?" Actually, wait, no, there is in Metal Gear Solid. So never mind. Okay, I answered my own question.
See,
Eli, the white Mamba.
That's way better than mine, which would be never even considering putting him in the top 10.
He's not even top 50 in my opinion.
Shit, I love it.
Just mean that genuinely. He ain't that great, brother.
I feel like if someone had done that Grok put him in a bikini thing with Kobe Bryant, it would be the first time someone got shot over AI.
I'm not going to do that, Pork, so I'm going to skip your question here. Ducky coming through with question for the pod. What is your favorite color? I'm a purple guy.
Orange.
Favorite color and favorite fruit?
Reading this.
I didn't say orange was my favorite fruit. I said it's up there.
Sorry, Orchid, I yelled over you. What is your favorite color?
The color reading this.
Pork, question for the podcast. When was the last time you shot a gun? This feels like trying to incriminate us.
No comment.
Yep.
All right. None of us are going to talk about shooting guns. Cole, question for the pod. Which previous VPR host do you think who survived the most gunshots, main or guest host? I don't want to give away my answer to the last one, but I can tell you that Sam could take at least one. Oh, here's one just for Orchid. I noticed on Twitter that you are a fan of the Washington Wizards and the New York Jets. Have you considered picking a struggle?
Yeah. Yeah, great.
That's a really good response.
Yeah. I think the thing with the Jets is the Jets is definitely a struggle. Like there's no offense or buts about it. The Wizards bring me a lot of joy even when they're middling.
They help Bam get 83.
They helped Bam get 83. Nick Young and Gilbert Arenas gave us that great video of Gilbert Arenas breaking into Nick Young's house after Iggy Azalea left him so he can bully his children. Gilbert Arenas generally just shitting in people's shoes. Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why I love the Wizards is that it is a shit show. And also John Wall is so adorable and so talented. So, I mean,
all right.
Yeah.
The Jets
are the struggle.
This one's from Andy. Question for the Orchid. What's up?
You.
Okay. Haven. Question for the pod. Favorite wizard?
All right, Dan, you've got the Lord of the Rings experience. We need to hear your thoughts on this.
I was just gonna say Gandalf or John Wall, so they've both already been mentioned, I feel like. That's the thing about me, my love of Lord of the Rings. I don't have obscure Lord of the Rings knowledge. Like I'm just like
okay. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how many wizards are in Lord of the Rings.
That's what I was thinking. I was
all
like,
of them.
There's at least 3.
Yeah.
My favorite is Wizard: The Guide to Comics. Trust me, if you read comic books in 1995, you'd love that answer.
I'm going Gilbert Arenas.
I'm going Javaris. If I got his last name right.
Eamon, question for the podcast. If you could watch a wrestling match in a cinema, which match would you choose?
You know, I actually did go see AEW World's End, I think 2023 in the cinema. Maybe it was 2020, but it was whichever one turned out to be the last time they did pay-per-views in movie theaters. Because I was like, oh, this is actually pretty nice. I'd consider doing this. So like $30, you get to watch it on a huge screen. There are people there. And then they never did one again.
I would watch Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso because that is cinema.
I would watch
Jey Uso
go ahead.
versus Jimmy. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Also cinema.
I would watch the YouTube link of Makora versus Necro Butcher that's out there right now.
Yeah, I was
Can you
gonna
imagine
say
that blasted on a big screen?
I was gonna say Beulah versus Fonzie in IMAX, or better
Oh,
yet,
man.
in like those MX 4D like motion seats.
Also from Eamon, question for Orchid. Why is this just Orchid? Okay, do you prefer Abe or Nomura?
You know, depends on the day of the week. I tend to rate Abe higher on the D100. I like Abe's silliness, but it also caps him a little bit for me. I think at the end of the day, I'd probably pick Nomura, but I don't know. I love them both pretty equally. It's hard. I think they're both great. This came up because I just watched the main event of Fighting Detectives and listened to.
Oh, okay. There's some context. All right. Well, I'm skipping Pork's question. Haven, question for the pod. Are you guys done yet? No?
Almost.
Yeah,
I wish.
we're
I
getting
wish.
close. Ducky, question for the pod. If you turned into a massive cockroach, what would you do?
I'd probably get killed by my cat.
Yeah, it was like a massive cockroach is still like not that big. So I mean, my life would get worse.
I would get fired from my job, that's for sure.
Maybe you'd be better at
it.
Maybe. That's a good question. There's only one way for us to find out.
And last question from Isabel. Q for the P. Do you think the bug in Kafka's The Metamorphosis is a cockroach? I've always seen it drawn as a cockroach. So yeah.
Is this a trick question? Is there does it turn out that he's like a katydid or something?
I don't remember. That's the last question, guys. Any parting thoughts?
Do you think that they should have worked a little harder to work the Kafka metamorphosis questions into some kind of like Chikara framework? Chikara had all the bug wrestlers.
At the colony.
Yeah.
We know them and love them. All right. No final shout outs for Ollie or anything?
No, I got that out of the way.
Okay, I'd make sure that we all got our feelings about it out.
So everyone, you know, we recommend enjoy Joshi, enjoy K-pop, enjoy anything else that features fashionable East Asian women with milk pale skin, but do so responsibly. It's not just your life you're ruining. You're making it everyone else's problems too. And you're fucking with our fucking mug.